Kathleen Rogers is going to come up here. She's the president of Earth Day Network. Welcome. Good to see you. And so we're coming up on 50, huh?
Me or Earth
Day? No, you're not. I'm sure you're nowhere close to that.
Wasn't very nice, but.
So tomorrow's 47th birthday,
Yes, it is.
Is that right? So Earth Day in 1970 had all kinds of interesting things going on. Well, there was war still going on. There was political turmoil. But you look back, the newspaper, the Times headline, the big banner headline that day, it was written by Joseph Lelyveld, who went on to become the executive editor of the Times, wrote the big story. And it talked about celebration and flowers and stuff. It wasn't kind of all. So I'm trying to get a sense from you of your own perception of what's different now versus then. Many things feel disruptive and anomalous right now. But can you give a quick reflection on that?
Yeah, I think given Earth Days now in about 195 countries, the feeling and sense of Earth Day varies, as you said earlier, very dramatically from community to community, country to country. There are many nations that participate now in Earth Day with a real sense of urgency.
Yeah.
We have 3 offices in India now, and there are tens of thousands of events, and people are marching and talking about their future. But generally speaking, I think Earth Day is itself about optimism. And so regardless of where we are in the current blip on the radar, I think generally speaking, people are still marching forward. I start out my mornings, I have to have the coffee to sort of gain the
Before you get
optimism that'll last. Yes.
Fuel, yeah. Actually, in India, I've just been learning it. They have this wonderful, Modi has pushed a program where middle class, there's been this longstanding subsidy for LPG, propane, the fuel that's in everybody who's got a gas grill, that white tank. It's a very clean fuel. It's better than burning wood. And they have this program where they've had a subsidy for this for a long time, for kind of everybody. But they've created an incentive for middle class people to give up their subsidy. So knowing that it will go to the truly poor people who are still dependent on fuels. And there's this ethical component to that. It's so interesting. And I don't know whether that's going to play a role going forward in the United States in terms of how we give and take between sectors of society. But if that can happen in India, where the conditions are so much more problematic than here, it gives me a source of optimism too.
We're actually working on a program in India around that exact topic. And we're promoting the subsidies among the Panchayat women leaders in India who, once they're educated, seem to take over this sort of subsidy interest and are putting solar in many villages now that have zero energy. So it is exactly the right thing for Modi to be doing. And it's actually turning out really well.
So take me back to this next couple of days. You're doing well, 2 things. It sounds like your focus through 2020, the 50th anniversary, is very much on education generally, but then here too, there's some teach-ins going on tomorrow.
Yeah, our global theme this year is climate, environment, and science literacy. And our goal is to promote, and it's working really well around the world, promoting mandatory environment and climate literacy with a combination of facts, internalization of values, civic action, and then jobs. So that's working out really well in the developing world. Oman, Morocco, Italy, Nicaragua are all sort of jumping on the bandwagon. We're having a little more more problems in the U.S. where we have 50 different environmental literacy plans, some of which ban the education on climate. So, but we'll survive. We'll move forward, and eventually, I think we'll understand that building a movement and building a green economy and building a workforce really depends on education.
And is there some last, what's the root of your optimism thinking ahead? Humanity, between now and 2050 is kind of peak us. We're heading toward roughly 9 billion people, all of whom would prefer a middle-class life to an impoverished life. And that's going to take a lot more energy, a lot of things. And when you what's the fuel other than caffeine that takes you through?
Well, I think human beings are pretty extraordinary, and whether we're working in Botswana or Burbank, California, we see communities rising to the occasion. As you all know, we're doing the March for Science tomorrow in the National Mall, and if you're not here at this great conference, please come down. But I think you'll see, we're seeing scientists and other constituencies kind of moving forward, and not only are they engaged, but they are also optimistic. They are feeling pretty good about becoming much more vocal about their what they do and what they're doing to save the world.
Yeah, and just one last quick question about the march. And I've talked to many, many scientists who have different approaches to this. Some are marching to their local library to give a talk, or marching to Washington. And there's a variety, there's a diversity there. One thing I've learned that it's taken me a while, 34 years, in covering environmental challenges, is that diversity can sometimes feel hard, having a diversity of responses to some issue or stress, but it seems very human. And I think the environmental movement of the mid-20th century had more of a be like us, we all have to be the same. Is that something that, am I misperceiving that diversity is a part of the path forward?
It absolutely is. In fact, our mission of Earth Day Network is to diversify the movement. So this is totally aligned with that concept. And we are seeing just about every segment of society really becoming engaged. And that includes corporations, teachers, growers. I mean, everybody on Earth seems to want to get into it, whether it's for a green job or it's because they care about the future collectively. But we are seeing the whole world sort of knitting itself slowly but surely together.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy your part of the weekend.
Thanks.